A group of friends set out on a trip across Europe to Moscow. After enjoying a few days of travel, Paul suggests a more adventurous side trip to Pripyat, an abandoned town next to Chernobyl that used to hold 60,000 people before the nuclear accident forced them to leave everything behind. The group is unsure about this dangerous idea and wants to stick to their original plans. However, after a long discussion, Paul convinces them to go along with his suggestion and introduces them to Yuri, a local tour guide. Yuri welcomes the group and reassures them that it's safe, promising they'll only be in Pripyat for 2 hours and won't be exposed to radiation during that short time. Shortly after, another couple, Michael and Zoe, arrives to join the tour. Yuri invites everyone into his van, and they begin the 2-hour drive to Pripyat. When they reach Pripyat, the group is surprised to see a checkpoint with soldiers guarding it. Yuri steps out to ask the soldiers if they can enter, but he's disappointed to learn that the town is closed for the day. As Yuri thinks about how to fix the situation, he remembers another way into Pripyat and drives there. After a short drive, they reach another entrance, which is also closed, but Yuri confidently removes the gate and drives through. As they go deeper into Pripyat, the group admires the peaceful and untouched nature. Upon arriving in the center of Pripyat, everyone gets out of the van to reflect on the lives disrupted by the disaster. They wander around the buildings and playgrounds, trying to picture what it was like before the tragedy. The group takes photos of each other and their surroundings, enjoying the moment. After exploring for a while, Yuri leads the group to the top of a tall apartment building. From there, he shows them the Chernobyl nuclear plant and explains what caused the disaster. Suddenly, Yuri hears some strange noises and decides to check them out. Out of nowhere, a brown bear appears and chases everyone back to the van. The group reaches the van in a panic and decides they've had enough of the extreme tour. However, when Yuri tries to start the van, he discovers that the wires have been cut off deliberately. As evening falls, Yuri tries to use his walkie-talkie to call for help, but it doesn't work. After thinking about their options, he suggests they secure the van and stay inside, and then walk towards the checkpoint in the morning. As night falls, they start hearing strange sounds outside, prompting Yuri and Chris to go out to investigate. Just moments later, they hear multiple gunshots, sending everyone into a panic, especially Paul, who worries for Chris's safety. Paul then goes out searching for Chris and finds him badly injured and brings him back to the van. Before anyone can react, a group of aggressive dogs shows up and attacks the van, leaving the group terrified and hiding inside until the dogs lose their interest. The next morning, Paul, Amanda, and Michael decide to quietly leave the van to search for Yuri. They start walking around looking for any signs of him. They discover Yuri's walkie-talkie in the doorway of a deserted cafeteria. As they enter, they notice a blood trail and find Yuri's mutilated body. While they try to understand what happened, a strange creature starts chasing them. They manage to run back to their van and agree that they need to leave the dangerous place immediately and head back to the checkpoint. However, Chris isn't able to walk and chooses to stay in the van with his girlfriend until the others can return with help. Paul tells Chris to stay in the van and gives him a walkie-talkie to communicate. He promises to come back with assistance and sets out with Michael, Zoe, and Amanda. While going through her camera, Amanda becomes frightened when she sees a human-like creature in one of the photos, but decides to keep this to herself for now. The group carefully continues on until they discover an empty parking lot filled with cars and excitedly run over, hoping to find parts for their van. After a thorough search, they find what they need. Paul uses the walkie-talkie to tell Chris about their discovery and assures him they'll be back soon. Just as they hurried back, they are chased by a pack of aggressive dogs. They eventually cross an old bridge over a river and manage to get away. Unfortunately, Michael and Zoe end up falling into the contaminated river. Paul and Amanda quickly try to pull them out, and after walking for a few hours as it starts to get dark, the group arrives at the spot where the van was parked, but are horrified to discover the van flipped upside down. Things become even more unsettling when they rush to the van and see that their friends are gone. Amanda then finds Natalie's video camera and plays the last recorded footage. In the video, Chris, who looks sick, fears he may not make it another day and proposes to Natalie, who becomes emotional. But before they can have a sweet moment, a mysterious creature attacks them and drags them away. Paul, heartbroken and furious that his brother is in danger, shouts for Chris, while the rest urge him to be quiet because his shouting could attract the creatures. The group then begins to search silently for their friends, following a trail of blood into an old building. Inside, they are pursued by creatures and have to escape. As they get closer to the exit, they find a terrified Natalie screaming for help, and they assist her in getting out safely. When they ask where Chris is, Natalie panics and reveals that the creatures have taken him. As the group makes their way forward, a Geiger counter warns them that radiation levels are increasing. Even though they're tired, they push themselves to move quickly. They suddenly see a young girl appear out of nowhere and cautiously approach her. However, they don't realize she's a distraction while the mutant creatures capture Natalie again. When they understand what's happening, they rush after her but are unsuccessful in rescuing her. Things get worse as a pack of mutants chases them. After a tough struggle, they manage to escape into an underground tunnel. As they go through, Michael gets caught while trying to close a door behind him. This leaves Zoe devastated, and she nearly breaks down. Amanda and Paul help her regain her composure and encourage her to keep moving. The three of them find themselves in an underground dungeon area and run through it as quickly as they can. In one room, Paul stumbles upon Chris's engagement ring and frantically searches for his brother, but there's no sign of him. Unfortunately, this noise alerts some mutants who try to grab them. As they climb a ladder to escape, Zoe gets caught, forcing Paul and Amanda to leave her behind in hopes of finding a way out themselves. While they move forward, Paul and Amanda receive a warning about very high radiation levels. They start running for their lives, but Paul loses his sight because of radiation poisoning, and Amanda's skin begins to blister. Soon after, they discover Natalie's lifeless and blistered body, which deeply saddens them. Before they can take a moment to grieve, mutants approach and start attacking them. Despite the danger, they manage to fend off their attackers. Feeling relieved, they are excited to see military soldiers arrive. However, since Paul can no longer see, he moves towards the soldiers asking for help, but is shot dead immediately. Amanda is then taken to a hospital where the doctors tell her that the mutants are actually patients who escaped after being exposed to radiation. They assure her that all the mutants have been caught again. While discussing among themselves, the doctors decide that they cannot let Amanda go because she knows too much. They end up putting her in a room full of mutant patients, leaving her to face a terrifying fate.